My life for you, do you want it? The boy's face slowly approached, his black eyes deep like a swirling vortex. I want. I can't afford it. Shin Zhaozhao suddenly swallowed hard, especially when the face in front of her slowly overlapped with that of her childhood sweetheart. Her legs weakly gave out. The next second, the boy wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her into his embrace, his cool voice possessing an enticing power. You'll have to take it, from now on, my life is yours, and, so am I. Snap, the crisp sound of a slap resonated in the room. Whoa. Shin Zhaozhao suddenly woke up with a start and sat up from her bed, meeting her mother's surprised gaze. You silly girl, why such a big reaction? You scared the life out of me. Zhaozhao's mother's hand froze midair, but then she regained her senses and couldn't help slapping her again, urging, now that you're awake, hurry up and get up, I packed your things, or else you'll miss the high-speed train. Shin Zhaozhao couldn't help feeling guilty, it was all Sang Yuyu's fault for showing her that adult comic, which made her have such a shameful and restless dream. And the face in her dream was that jerk, Xing Chui. Ack, spit. She must be crazy. High-speed train station. Once you get there, don't cause any trouble, Zhaozhao's mother admonished as she saw her daughter off. Shin Zhaozhao yawned, barely keeping her eyes open, and complained, can't you trust me a little? Am I the type to stir up trouble? Trouble usually found her, actually. Zhaozhao's mother glanced at her daughter's soft and innocent face. If she hadn't been cleaning up her messes all her life, she might have believed her. This time Uncle Xing bought a villa near your school. You and E will live there, it's convenient for school, and you can watch out for each other. Living in someone else's house, remember to be diligent. Mom, at my age, so young and beautiful, you're actually having me live with a boy? Zhaozhao's mother looked at her disapprovingly, rest assured, he probably doesn't fancy you. Besides, didn't you used to love hanging out at Aunt Sushin's place as a kid and insist on living with E? Have you forgotten? Reminded of the past, Shin Zhaozhao couldn't help but blush, that was when I was a child, she muttered. Alright, the train's here, hurry on now. Zhaozhao's mother urged, with a look of eagerness to send her off. Perhaps due to the back-to-school season, the train was crowded. Upon stepping out of the high-speed train station, Shin Zhaozhao immediately took out her phone to call Qin Sushin. Aunt Sushin, I've arrived. Is that you, Zhaozhao? I sent E to pick you up. Have you seen him? Qin Sushin's gentle voice came through the receiver. Shin Zhaozhao instinctively looked around. The crowd was bustling, but she spotted a tall figure standing at the end of the crowd. The youth was dressed in a white shirt and black trousers, the top button undone, revealing a handsome neckline. Above that, his face was exceptionally beautiful, his deep-set eyes ink-like as if painted with watercolors, and although his features were breathtakingly gorgeous, his overall demeanor exuded a chill that set him apart from the crowd, instantly drawing attention. Standing amidst the light and shadows, he made everyone else look like mere backdrops. After 2 years, her childhood friend had grown even more devilishly handsome. Shin Zhaozhao blinked, it took her a moment to compose herself before she said to the phone, Aunt Sushin, I see him. Good, if you need anything, just ask E, and don't be shy with him, Aunt Sushin laughed on the other end. I understand, thank you, Aunt Sushin. Don't worry, I won't be shy with him. Ending the call, Shin Zhaozhao put away her phone, straightened her messy hair, and pulled her suitcase toward the figure. Hey, handsome, waiting for someone? Take a good look at me, do I look like the person you're waiting for? How about this, don't wait anymore. Since you're meant to take someone home, take me. I'll go home with you, how about that? The young man frowned slightly and looked at her with a faint gaze. Shin Zhaozhao, speak properly, don't go crazy. Shin Zhaozhao's expression instantly turned sour. TSK, having not seen him for so long, her childhood friend was still as aloof as ever, darn, still had that cold demeanor. The day Shin Zhaozhao was born, many other women were also giving birth. When the nurse wheeled several babies out together, Daddy Zhaozhao pointed excitedly at the middle one and said to the nurse, Nurse, the child in the middle looks good, I want that one. It's said that because of this, despite the pain from her C-section, Zhaozhao's mother chased her husband around the delivery room 3 times. And the child her dad said looked good was Xing Chui. Shin Zhaozhao and Xing Chui shared the same birth year, month, and day, and they were even in the same maternity room. Not only that, they lived in the same residential complex, in the same building. Their families were right across from each other, separated only by a wall. Every time Daddy Zhao Zhao looked at his own wrinkly, ugly daughter and then at the clean and tidy neighbor next door, he deeply suspected that the nurse had made a mistake. His daughter, Shen Mo's daughter, couldn't possibly be so ugly. Fortunately, after some time had passed, Shen Zhaozhao's features had matured, she was no longer wrinkly, and her skin had turned from pink to white. It was then Shen Mo finally accepted the fact that this was indeed his daughter. At first, when it came to naming her, Daddy Zhao Zhao suggested, why not call her Shen Peliang? A girl should be pretty, after all. Due to the ridiculous suggestion, naming rights were immediately revoked from Zhao Zhao's dad by Zhao Zhao's mother. Shen Zhao Zhao felt lucky that her mother had the final say, otherwise she would have been stuck with a hugely embarrassing name. Mr. Xing and Daddy Zhao Zhao were childhood friends, as close as iron, and even bought houses next to each other when getting married. With their children born on the same day, the family's bond grew even closer, practically becoming one family. Although the two children were born on the same day, their personalities were completely opposite. From a young age, Xing Chuyi was quiet, content with just eating, sleeping, and playing by himself. Shen Zhaozhao, on the other hand, was different. She cried the moment she opened her eyes, her cries almost as loud as thunder on a clear day. She could startle the entire building. She only behaved when she was with Xing Chuyi. Not really behaved, just not crying, but instead excitedly babbling away nonstop. Every day, Zhao Zhao's mother was driven to distraction by her daughter's crying, and finally, she simply sent her daughter next door as soon as she woke up. Strangely enough, the moment the girl saw the boy next door, her crying would stop abruptly, her tears as controllable as running water. By the time she was 8 months old, Shen Zhaozhao already knew how to crawl next door herself. Mrs. Xing was quite welcoming, but it seemed Xing Chuyi wasn't too happy. Every morning, he was rudely awakened by a small chubby hand. The owner of the chubby hand not only drooled but also enjoyed making bubbles and then giggling incessantly, like a little fool. Children grow fast, changing month by month. On this day, 10-month-old Xing Chuyi was once again woken from his sleep by a slap, opening his eyes to a magnified face. The owner of the face was lying next to him, blowing bubbles and waving her hands, babbling at him. Woken up, Chuyi tried to ward off the annoying intruder with his little hand, but it only touched the bubbles at the edge of her mouth. Pop, the bubble burst. Zhao Zhao seemed stunned for a moment, her wet big eyes blinked twice, as if she had discovered something new and interesting. Immediately, she blew another bubble and looked at Xing Chuyi. But after waiting a long time, when her companion did not burst her bubbles again, little Princess Shen became unhappy, pouting her lips, and the next second, she burst into tears. Xing Chuyi, still unscathed by societal pressures, was immediately shocked by her crying. And with that cry, Shen Zhaozhao firmly established her place in the family next door. Qin Suxin heard little Zhao Zhao's voice and immediately rushed in from outside the room. As soon as she entered, she saw Shen Zhaozhao crying a river and her own son sitting opposite, blankly staring at the other child. Qin Suxin quickly checked little Zhao Zhao's diaper, it was neither wet nor soiled, and then she made some formula for both little ones. But the little girl's crying didn't stop. Qin Suxin couldn't help but turn her gaze to her own son. While consoling Shen Zhaozhao, she sternly asked little Chuyi, "Son, did you bully your sister?" Zhao Zhao had always been well behaved at their house, and she definitely wouldn't cry without a reason. And the only suspect in the room was her own son. Little Chuyi, Yaya. He didn't. Qin Suxin couldn't understand her son's babbling and could only continue to soothe the little girl in her arms. Zhao Zhao, darling, did brother bully you? At the mention of the word brother, Shen Zhaozhao instantly stopped crying, her eyes, soaked with tears, stared in the direction of Xing Chuyi. Pointing at him, she babbled in complaint, yes, he wouldn't play with her. Although Qin Suxin couldn't understand her son's rebuttal, she seemed to understand the little girl's complaints and said to Xing Chuyi, "Son, you must be nice to your sister in the future, you know not to bully her, right?" However, little Xing just grabbed his bottle and decisively rolled over. When they turned 1 year old, both little ones had learned to walk and had also learned to snatch things from each other. That day, Xing Chuyi's toy was taken, and in his urgency, he pointed towards Shen. Zhao Zhao, Zhao. Zhao. Eh? "Son, did you just speak?" It was the first time Qin Suxin had heard her son speak, and she wasn't quite sure. "Zhao. Zhao." Seeing that the adults didn't help him get the toy back, Xing Chui pointed in the direction of Shen Zhaozhao and called out again. Qin Suxin now heard it clearly. Although most children's first words were mommy or daddy, her son's first words were actually the name of the little girl. "Eh? Our son can speak?" Mr. Xing had just walked in the door and heard his son's voice, with Zhao Zhao's mother following behind, coming to take her daughter home. Indeed, the little guy can say Zhao Zhao now. Although Qin Suxin felt a bit jealous, she was more thrilled. "I knew it. This boy always acts indifferent towards Zhao Zhao, but deep down, he really likes our Zhao Zhao." Mr. Xing laughed heartily and said, "The kids are together every day, just like twins, they're bound to have a good relationship in the future." Moved by his words, Qin Suxin turned her head to look at Zhao Zhao's mother and said, "Look, the children get along so well, why don't we just arrange a betrothal for them?" Xu Ran brightened up at the idea. It was a good relationship. She had always felt a bit embarrassed about leaving her daughter next door every day, but if she was going to be their future daughter-in-law, after all, she would be part of their family, so sending her over early seemed alright. Worst case scenario, she would just prepare a generous dowry later on. The two families quickly agreed and immediately went out for a meal together to celebrate the engagement. Ever since the engagement, Qin Suxin truly treated that little girl like her own daughter. Even her own son had to make room. Other than sleeping at her own home at night, Shen Zhaozhao spent almost all her other time next door. If this had happened in the past, they could probably have considered it fostering a child bride. In the blink of an eye, the two toddlers turned 2 years old. Shen Zhaozhao woke up from her nap and was stunned to see a puddle on the ground beneath her. She blinked her big eyes for quite a while, pouted her lips, and looked like she wanted to cry, and then suddenly caught sight of Xing Chui to her side. The little girl's eyes darted around and then she resolutely crawled to lie down on the other side. Before long, footsteps sounded at the door. Xu Ran and Qin Suxin walked in together, guessing that it was about time for the two children to wake up from their naps. "Oh? A wet bed." As Qin Suxin approached the bed, she saw a wet patch on it. Shen Zhaozhao, who had just stealthily opened her eyes, couldn't help feeling guilty. When she saw Xu Ran looking over, she immediately said, "Brother did it." The 2-year-old Shen Zhaozhao was already speaking very fluently. And she was quick to lay the blame on others. Just awake, Xing Chui opened his eyes to be accused of wetting the bed, completely dumbfounded. Don't listen to her nonsense. Xu Ran was torn between laughter and tears. If it weren't for seeing her daughter's wet pants, she might have believed her. Wonder who this girl takes after. "I'm sorry for letting your Chui be wronged," Xu Ran said, feeling embarrassed as she looked at Qin Suxin. Qin Suxin smiled warmly. "Look at what you're saying, taking the blame for his wife. That's what he's supposed to do," she said, and didn't forget to glance at her son, who was still looking dazed. Feeling his mother's gaze upon him, little Chui couldn't help but frown. Lately, he had been hearing the word wife from his parents' mouths a lot. Although he didn't know what a wife was, he was sure it wasn't anything good. He didn't want one. Soon, the two little ones turned 3, the age where they find everything, even poop, worth exploring. Shen Zhaozhao was lively and active, with a quirky and lively personality. Now she spoke in long strings of words, had many mischievous ideas, and if not watched, would cause havoc everywhere. Even the dogs in the neighborhood disliked her. Zhaozhao's mother would often look at her and feel overwhelmed with worry. On the contrary, Xing Chui liked quiet, and could sit alone with a book all day long. The two children had completely different personalities. Xu Ran thought her daughter was too noisy, while Qin Suxin felt her son was too dull, and together they decided to send the two little ones to kindergarten. In kindergarten, with many other children around, they hoped the personalities of the two kids might change somewhat. The entrance procedures went very smoothly. Early in the morning, the adults from both families took the two little ones to kindergarten for registration. Dressed in brand new clothes and carrying identical backpacks, the two little ones looked like a pair of beautiful dolls. Daddy Zhaozhao had previously thought that those parents who found it hard to let their children go to school, making it seem like a matter of life and death, were being melodramatic. But when it came time for Shen Zhaozhao to go to kindergarten, Daddy Zhao Zhao didn't feel like going to work at all, and wished he could follow her inside. Standing at the entrance of the kindergarten, Shinemo reluctantly clutched Shin Zhao Zhao's hand and admonished, "My girl, you should listen to the teacher in kindergarten, you know? If the other kids hit you, hit them back. We don't start trouble, but we're not afraid of it either. You must eat well in kindergarten, you can't go hungry. My girl, if you miss Daddy, just give me a call, I'll be waiting for you after school." The kindergarten teachers watched as Daddy Zhao Zhao hesitated several times before finally let go of Shin Zhao Zhao's hand, prompted by Zhao Zhao's mother, who couldn't bear to watch any longer. "By Daddy, by Mommy, by Uncle Sheng, by Aunt Suxin." Shin Zhao Zhao had been looking forward to it, waved her little hand, grabbed Xing Chuyi's hand, and without looking back, stepped into the kindergarten. Daddy Zhao Zhao watched his precious daughter's retreating figure, his nose tingled, and tears swooshed down uncontrollably. Seeing this, Mr. and Mrs. Xing and Zhao Zhao's mother were torn between laughter and tears. Zhao Zhao had a sweet mouth. As soon as she saw the young and pretty teacher, she took the initiative to greet, "Hello, teacher." The young female teacher was charmed by the little girl's sweet, milky voice and smiled, "You're Zhao Zhao, right? I'm your teacher Taozi." "Teacher Taozi, you're so pretty." The little girl was so sweet with her words that Teacher Taozi beamed with happiness as soon as she spoke. "You are pretty too." Teacher Taozi held Zhao Zhao's little hand and felt that the little girl in front of her was soft, cute, and sweet-mouthed, just like a little angel. After greeting, Zhao Zhao didn't forget to introduce the boy next to her and said, "Teacher, he is Xing Chuyi." Teacher Taozi then looked at the little boy next to her, secretly surprised by the beautiful boy. "Hello, little friend Chuyi." Teacher Taozi patted Xing Chuyi's head. Xing Chuyi was somewhat resistant, he didn't like people touching his head. However, his mother had told him before leaving the house to respect the teacher and listen to her in kindergarten, so he stiffly said, "Hello, teacher. Shall I take you to the classroom, okay?" Teacher Taozi held Zhao Zhao's hand and was about to take Xing Chuyi's. But he dodged before she could touch him. Teacher Taozi paused for a moment. Then she heard the soft, mushy voice of the little girl next to her, "Teacher Taozi, he doesn't like others holding his hand, you just hold Zhao Zhao's." After saying that, she went to hold Xing Chuyi's hand, and this time he didn't dodge. Teacher Taozi couldn't help but smile. So, was she being rejected? Zhao Zhao was eager to go. Oh no, she wanted to play with the other children. She tilted her little head up and urged, "Teacher Taozi, let's go fast." "Okay." Teacher Taozi thought these two children, one good-looking and the other fun, were both likable types that would probably get along well with the other children. She didn't need to worry too much and then led them to the nursery classroom. The classroom was a bit messy. With the two little ones, Teacher Taozi walked into the classroom, and the children immediately gathered around, staring at the two with big, curious eyes, and asked chattering, "Teacher Taozi, who are they? Teacher Taozi, are they new friends? Teacher Taozi." The classroom buzzed with noise. Teacher Taozi smiled and interrupted the children, "Alright, I'll count to 3, and everyone should go to your seats and sit nicely. 1, 2, 3, the children who had just formed a circle immediately ran back to their seats. Teacher Taozi continued with the call and response, "Little eyes? Look at the teacher." The voices responded in unison. "Little ears? Point them up. Little hands? Put them on your laps. Little mouths? Close them." As she saw every little radish sitting up straight, Teacher Taozi was pleased and said, "You all are doing very well. Now, Teacher Taozi wants to introduce 2 new friends. Let's all clap our hands to welcome the new friends, shall we?" "Okay." The little hands below clapped together, all eyes curious, looking at Zhao Zhao and Xing Chuyi on the stage. "Shall we introduce ourselves?" Teacher Taozi encouraged Zhao Zhao and Xing Chuyi with her eyes. "Hello, everyone, I'm Shin Zhao Zhao, and you can call me Zhao Zhao." Zhao Zhao was naturally sociable. Teacher Taozi nodded, and she confidently made the introduction, not forgetting to introduce Xing Chuyi as well. "This is Xing Chuyi." Zhao Zhao had just finished introducing herself when she heard the children asking all at once, "Are you twins? Why don't you look alike?" Zhao Zhao looked at the children below and was happy thinking about playing with so many friends every day from now on, but Xing Chuyi looked unhappy, finding them too noisy. Teacher Taozi then helped them arrange their seats. Teacher, I want to sit with Xing Chuyi, Zhao Zhao requested. Why? I want to protect Yi. Although Qin Suxin and Xing Yanqing always taught Xing Chuyi at home to protect Zhao Zhao, Zhao Zhao always felt that it was Xing Chuyi who needed protection. Alright then. Who could refuse a request from a little cutie? Teacher Taozi arranged for the two to sit together. Next to them sat a little chubby boy. The little chubby boy was very fat, twice as plump as Zhao Zhao, sitting with his back to them, a tuft of silly hair sticking up on his head. The little girl's gaze drifted towards the boy's head from time to time, and as she watched, her little hands became irresistibly itchy. Taking advantage of the moment when the little chubby boy was not paying attention, Zhao Zhao stretched out her tiny hand and swiftly pressed down the tuft of hair on his head. The result was that as soon as she pressed it down, it sprang back up, and after repeating this several times, Zhao Zhao became impatient and slapped it down hard. The little chubby boy, known as the tyrant of the class and spoiled at home, was bossy and feared by other children. He immediately looked up unhappily when his head was slapped. Zhao Zhao realized that she had caused trouble and, after assessing the size difference between them, quickly hid her face behind her hands and lay down on the desk, pretending to be asleep. The little chubby boy turned around to see Zhao Zhao lying as if asleep and Chuyi sitting next to her reading a book. After looking back and forth between them, his gaze finally rested on Chuyi, and the little chubby boy asked fiercely, "Was it you who hit me just now?" Chuyi glanced at Zhao Zhao, who was lying on the desk sneakily peeking out with a pair of eyes. "I didn't. It was you." The little chubby boy stood up from his seat, waving his little chubby fists, ready to hit Chuyi. Zhao Zhao, panicking, could no longer pretend to sleep, quickly stood up and called out softly, "Teacher Taozi is coming." The little chubby boy believed it was true, but when he turned around, he realized he had been tricked. Meanwhile, Zhao Zhao took the opportunity to grab Chuyi and run outside, calling out as they ran, "Teacher Taozi, help! The little chubby boy is hitting people." The little chubby boy, furious, shouted and chased after them, waving his chubby fists. Teacher Taozi, hearing the commotion, quickly came over and gathered the three, asking the little chubby boy, "Why are you hitting others?" "It was him who hit me first," the little chubby boy said indignantly, pointing in Chuyi's direction. "Chuyi, is that true?" Teacher Taozi turned to Chuyi. Chuyi glanced at Zhao Zhao standing next to him with her little hands behind her back, standing straight and staring innocently with big shining eyes, and kept his lips sealed. Teacher Taozi bent down and patiently said to him, "Fighting is not right. How about we apologize to Jingyang?" "Teacher Taozi, I will apologize to the little chubby one on his behalf." Before Teacher Taozi could finish, Zhao Zhao took the initiative to bow to the little chubby boy. "I'm sorry, can you forgive us?" Since she was the one who had hit, her apology was very sincere. However, the little chubby boy was not appeased, pointing in Chuyi's direction and demanding, "I want him to apologize." Teacher Taozi turned to Chuyi. "Chuyi, can you apologize to the little chubby, oh no, almost got that wrong, to Jingyang?" Chuyi, with a stern face, said, "I cannot." Teacher Taozi felt very troubled. The seemingly beautiful and quiet little guy turned out to be quite stubborn. Being called to the kindergarten on the first day was something neither Suxin nor Xing Yanqing had expected. As soon as Zhao Zhao saw Suxin and Xing Yanqing appear, she knew she had caused trouble. Without waiting for them to speak, she immediately confessed, "Don't scold Yi, it was all Zhao Zhao's doing." The little girl pointed at her fingers, a guilty expression on her face. Before coming, Teacher Taozi had already told them about what happened, and they were originally puzzled as to why their stinky boy would get into a fight. "It's only the first day and he's already in trouble, that won't do, he must be taught a lesson." But as soon as they heard that Shin Zhao Zhao was the one who hit someone, the couple's sympathy immediately shifted, patting the little girl's head and saying, "Our Zhao Zhao is so good, she definitely didn't mean to bully other kids." Xing Chuyi really wanted to roll his eyes. Did they have some kind of misunderstanding about the word good? Upon hearing this, Zhao Zhao's eyes lit up, and she immediately lifted her little head and nodded vigorously. That's right, she didn't do it on purpose, it was her little hands acting up on their own. The two small tufts on her head shook along with her movements, and the sight of her so milky and cute almost melted Qin Suxin's heart. Their Zhao Zhao is really adorable. Then can Zhao Zhao tell us what exactly happened? Qin Suxin asked gently and patiently. Zhao Zhao didn't mean it, Zhao Zhao just wanted to help him stroke his fuzz, the little girl said innocently and sincerely, with big shimmering eyes and a milky voice. Everyone then noticed the tuft of hair on the little fatty's head and guessed what probably happened. Qin Suxin said with amusement, then how about we apologize to him, okay? Zhao Zhao has already apologized, the little girl turned to teacher Taozi as if seeking confirmation. Qin Suxin also turned to teacher Taozi. Teacher Taozi was somewhat embarrassed. She did apologize, but she didn't actually say she was the one who hit him. After figuring out the whole story, Mr. Sheng patted Sheng Chuyi's shoulder and said, "Good son, well done. A real man should be able to take responsibility and be flexible. You are the big brother, so you have to protect your sister, and if necessary, taking the blame for her is no big deal." Sheng. The scapegoat. Chuyi kept a straight face, expressionless. Could he say no? On the way home after school, Qin Suxin saw someone selling sugar figurines by the road and bought one for each child. The sugar figurines were made to look like the two kids. Shen Zhaozhao didn't want to eat her own sugar figurine, so she gazed at the one in Sheng Chuyi's hand and said, "It looks tastier than mine, can I have a lick?" Sheng Chuyi refused, "No." "Alright then." Shen Zhaozhao looked regretfully away from his, then at the sugar figurine in her own hand, opened her mouth, closed it again, and then lifted her head to Sheng Chuyi. "I can't bear to eat mine, can we trade?" Sheng Chuyi didn't have so many thoughts and found her annoying, so if Zhao Zhao wanted to trade, he traded with her. After taking Shen Zhaozhao's sugar figurine, he promptly put it to his mouth. Crunch, it made a sound. Before Sheng Chuyi had a chance to taste the sugar figurine, he heard Shen Zhaozhao shout, "Ah, you've bitten off my head." Sheng Chuyi was so startled that he almost dropped the sugar figurine. While Shen Zhaozhao was heartbroken over the loss of her head, she was also curious about the taste of the sugar figurine, and looked expectantly at Sheng Chuyi. "Does my head taste good?" Sheng Chuyi. Without waiting for his reply, the little girl concluded on her own, "It must be very tasty." Shen Zhaozhao's gaze then fell upon the remaining half of the sugar figurine's body in his hand, and she salivated, "My hand also looks very tasty." Sheng Chuyi. The sugar figurine in his mouth suddenly lost its flavor. Sheng Chuyi directly handed over the remaining sugar figurine to her. "Here you go." Shen Zhaozhao's eyes immediately brightened. Without the head, the sugar figurine didn't look like her at all anymore, and Shen Zhaozhao ate it without any psychological burden. Maybe feeling a bit guilty for having eaten his sugar figurine, Shen Zhaozhao reluctantly offered the untouched sugar figurine in her hand to him. "Here's your head too, do you want it?" "No need." He didn't want to eat his own head at all. Seeing that Sheng Chuyi declined, Shen Zhaozhao courteously withdrew her hand, swinging her little feet happily and licking the sugar figurine with satisfaction. When the car reached downstairs, Shen Zhaozhao suddenly thought of something and hugged Qin Suxin's thigh tightly. "Aunt Suxin, can Zhao Zhao stay at your place tonight?" The little girl looked up at her with a pitiful gaze, resembling an orphan. "Of course, you can." Qin Suxin wished the girl would stay with her every day. "That's great, I want to sleep with Yi tonight," the little girl said joyfully. "No way," Sheng Chuyi protested immediately, his little face filling up with resistance upon hearing this. He had been sleeping in a separate room from his parents since he was 2 and certainly did not want to share his bed with anyone else. "I'm very good when I sleep, I promise I won't steal your blanket," the little girl assured fervently. "Still no." Sheng Chuyi's face was stern, and he refused to agree no matter what. The little girl frowned with a dumpling face, looking grievously at Sheng Chuyi. "Really? If Mom and Dad find out about the trouble Zhao Zhao caused at school, they will spank Zhao Zhao's bottom." Qin Suxin couldn't help but laugh upon hearing this. She had wondered why the girl suddenly wanted to stay over, only to learn it was because she feared getting spanked at home. "Don't worry, we won't tell Mom and Dad, and if they don't know, they won't spank Zhao Zhao's bottom," Qin Suxin comforted her. "Really?" The little girl's eyes lit up upon hearing this. "When has Aunt Suxin ever lied to you?" Qin Suxin said with a smile. Only then did the little girl heave a sigh of relief. "Thank you, Aunt Suxin. You're the best. Now are you reassured?" The little girl nodded vigorously. Coming out of the elevator, they saw that the door next door was open. Hearing the noise, Aunt Ran came out from her house, still wearing an apron, and greeted them. "Back already? Perfect timing, I've just finished buying groceries." Come over to my place for dinner tonight, let's celebrate the kids' first day at nursery school. Sure. The two families had been as close as one for the past 2 years, without any formalities between them. Seeing Qin Suxin and Xing Yanqing together, Aunt Ran laughed and said, "How come you two went to pick them up together?" Qin Suxin, well, it was the first day of nursery for the kids. He happened to be on the way, so we both went to pick them up. Lying is not right. Suddenly, the young Xing Chui spoke up from the side, it's clearly because Shen Zhaozhao hit someone that parents were called in. What did you say? This girl hit someone at the nursery? Aunt Ran's voice immediately rose an octave. Qin Suxin versus Xing Yanqing versus Shen Zhaozhao. All three turned their gazes toward Xing Chui at once. They had agreed to not mention it at home, but had forgotten about this little guy. Xing Chui stood firm under everyone's scrutiny, his face neither red nor shy, and with his innocent eyes, he asked, "Am I not supposed to tell the truth?" Although his parents had promised Shen Zhaozhao not to tell, he didn't make any such promise. Qin Suxin and Xing Yanqing were both startled by their son's unexpectedly crafty behavior. The little rascal was only 3 years old, who had he learned this from? No, you did the right thing. If Zhaozhao causes trouble at school again, remember to tell Aunt Ran right away, Aunt Ran said as she patted Xing Chui's head. In the next second, she looked up in Shen Zhaozhao's direction, transforming into a stern figure. "Shen Zhaozhao, come here to me. Aunt Suxin, save me." The little girl cried out loudly and immediately took refuge behind Qin Suxin. Qin Suxin hurriedly protected her and said, all right, isn't it normal for kids to roughhouse? Look how frightened the child is. She's causing trouble on the very first day, whose kid is like her? Aunt Ran was getting angrier by the minute. Wait, if this girl got into a fight, why didn't the teacher notify me or her dad? How come the two of you were called instead? That's not right. Why didn't the teacher notify her dad and me about this girl fighting? How come they called the two of you instead? She is the girl's guardian, shouldn't they have looked for her instead? Qin Suxin, it was nothing, just a mistake by the teacher. Zhaozhao and Yi were sitting together, and the child who hit someone mistakenly thought it was Yi who did it, so the teacher called us. What misunderstanding? It must have been that Zhaozhao causing trouble again, right? No one knows a daughter better than her mother. She knew exactly what kind of trouble her own daughter had been causing since she learned to walk and talk. She had never stopped making Yi take the blame for her. Yi, tell Aunt Ran, did Zhaozhao do it on purpose? Xu Ran didn't ask the girl but directly asked Xing Chui. Little friend Xing Chui glanced in the direction of Shen Zhaozhao before looking up at Xu Ran. Aunt Ran, Zhaozhao didn't do it on purpose. She didn't mean to hit someone and then pretend to be asleep. Aunt Ran, don't scold her. She even apologized to Yi. With the little cunning her daughter possessed, there was nothing left for Xu Ran to misunderstand. Upon hearing that the girl not only hit someone but also tried to pin the blame on Xing Chui, she became furious. Goodness! Not only do you fight in kindergarten, but you also make Yi take the fall? Come out here, I need to give you a good lesson today no matter what. Xu Ran rolled up her sleeves, beginning to look for a handy tool. Wah, hiding behind Qin Suxin, Shen Zhaozhao burst into tears directly. Don't cry, Aunt Suxin is here. While soothing her with sympathy, Qin Suxin tried to calm Xu Ran down. Look at you, making a big deal out of a small matter. Besides, Zhaozhao didn't do it on purpose. Don't scare the child. Qin Suxin quietly signaled her son, hoping he would take Zhaozhao to the next room to hide for a bit. But little Xing Chui acted as if he saw nothing. Qin Suxin, both frustrated and amused, watched her son, realizing she had given birth to a little rascal with a black sesame filling. The little guy wasn't big, but he was no slouch when it came to being crafty. Forget it, if this girl doesn't get taught a lesson now, she might become unmanageable. She dared to fight with other kids on her first day in kindergarten and even dared to make Yi take the fall. If we don't deal with this, she might just go too far. Xu Ran was almost out of breath with anger. Other people's daughters were gentle and quiet, but hers was like a muddy monkey, getting into even more trouble than boys. Suxin held Shen Zhaozhao tightly in her arms. You are exaggerating. Besides, if you want to punish my daughter-in-law, can I just stand by and do nothing? Fine, you deal with it. I think from now on, it might as well be all up to you. Anyway, it's you who spoiled her, so if there are any complaints later, don't expect me to take any returns, Shu-ran huffed. No problem. Qin Su-shin replied with a laugh, don't worry, even if I don't want a son, I will definitely keep Zhao Zhao as my daughter-in-law. Under Qin Su-shin's protection, Shen Zhao Zhao narrowly escaped a beating, but after dinner, she adamantly followed Qin Su-shin to the next room. That clever child was deathly afraid that after Qin Su-shin's family left, there would be a reckoning, insisting on not staying at home no matter what. After taking the two little ones back next door, Qin Su-shin called Xing Chui over. Do you not like Zhao Zhao? The little guy pursed his lips and said nothing. Qin Su-shin feigned a sigh. Alright, Mom understands. Since you don't like Zhao Zhao, we won't let you play together anymore. There are so many kids in kindergarten, there will definitely be children who like Zhao Zhao. From now on, let other kids play with Zhao Zhao. The little friend Xing Chui's lips immediately pursed even tighter. The mere thought of Zhao Zhao playing with other kids and not with him made little Xing Chui's face scrunch up, his lips tightly pursed. Actually, Zhao Zhao had only been a tiny bit annoying, not that intolerable. After a good while, the little guy awkwardly spoke up. Sorry, Mom, I was wrong. Wrong about what? Qin Su-shin asked. Xing Chui hung his little head and said, I shouldn't have deliberately tattled to Aunt Ran. I knew that little rascal did it on purpose. Knowing your mistake is good. Don't do it again, okay? Now, go play with Zhao Zhao. She just got scared. Remember to comfort her well. Qin Su-shin kept her face impassive, but internally she was laughing her head off. Brat, I've eaten more rice than you by over 2 decades, I can certainly handle you. At night, after Qin Su-shin had bathed the two little ones, she shooed them both to bed. Xing Chui expressed his protest. But his protest was ineffective. In the end, his bed was still shared with Zhao Zhao. But Zhao Zhao, ever so easygoing, climbed onto the bed first, patted the pillow next to her, and in a very grown-up tone said to him, come quick, I'll tell you a story to put you to sleep. Zhao Zhao's stories were stammered, and midway through, she fell asleep herself. She slept on her belly, limbs splayed out, even beginning to snore softly. Xing Chui frowned and, with a look of disgust, grabbed his little blanket and covered her before finally lying down beside her. The next morning, Qin Su-shin came to wake them up and saw the two little ones head to head, cuddled up together, sleeping soundly. Zhao Zhao's little hand was on Xing Chui's face, Xing Chui's little foot was placed on Zhao Zhao's chubby belly. It had been a long time since she had seen such a loving picture of the two children sleeping. Qin Su-shin couldn't resist picking up her phone and started snapping away with a click, click. The noise of the camera woke Xing Chui up, and the little guy, rubbing his eyes, sat up and said, Mom, what are you doing? Nothing, it's time to get up for kindergarten. Qin Su-shin hastily put away her phone, deciding to show the pictures to the kids when they were older. Qin Su-shin was thinking ahead, she even imagined showing these photos at the kids' future wedding ceremony. Xing Chui, still unaware that he had been photographed, glanced at Zhao Zhao, who was sleeping like a little piglet next to him and, with a disgusted face, nudged her awake. Get up already, your drool has dirted my pillow. Zhao Zhao, pushed awake, opened her eyes to see Xing Chui in front of her and couldn't help but flash a big smile, wrapping her tiny arms around his neck and planting a loud kiss on his face with her sweet baby voice. Good morning. Xing Chui kept a straight face, pushed her away, and complained, Don't kiss me, you got your drool all over my face. Qin Su-shin watched on the side, unable to suppress an aunt's smile. Zhao Zhao, unfazed by the rejection, cheerfully got up and ran towards Qin Su-shin, embracing her neck and repeated the earlier action. Aunt Su-shin, good morning. Little Zhaoer, good morning. Qin Su-shin hugged her as they climbed down from the bed and touched her head. Go brush your teeth and wash your face with it's time for breakfast. Let's go quickly. Zhao Zhao turned around and took the initiative to hold Xing Chui's hand. Though Xing Chui verbally disapproved, he still proactively grabbed a small stool to reach for his new toothbrush in the cupboard, prepared the toothpaste, and handed it to Zhao Zhao. The two little ones stood side by side, in matching pajamas, each holding a matching toothbrush, and the image of them brushing their teeth together was especially adorable. Qin Su-shin's auntly heart overflowed as she secretly took out her phone again.